Are we to the point where we're deifying Kobe Bryant now? Like,
certainly
like
feels
how
that
long
way.
has Kobe Bryant been out of the game where we're to the point where we've forgotten that we've seen Kobe Bryant play and we've seen Kobe Bryant's act? I'm trying to figure that out.
No, people forget. That's why we have to make sure that we bring it back up, because how history really played out in people's mind, it's a lot different.
The revisionist history on Kobe is crazy.
Like, Kobe's one of the 10 greatest players of all time, but let's sort of like leave it there and not make him out to be the greatest teammate of all time either. Let's keep it there. For LeBron, I do think there's part of some frustration there. He's going to miss the playoffs for the first time since his second year in the NBA, and he's been hurt. And I think this is very much underplayed in this. He's been hurt in a way that he has not been able to come back and recover and exert the same amount of effect on winning that he has at any other point in his career. Not just the injury, but being able to come back and play. Like the last time he was seriously hurt, he was in Cleveland that first year back. He missed 8 games with the back injury.
Yep.
He came back and was gangbusters. They won 12 in a row, and they cruised all the way to the NBA Finals. He missed all that time and came back, and although the numbers look like it, he didn't look like the same player. Like,
and what
the
did
gap
he say,
between him and
when shortly after he came back around the All-Star break, what he was going to do?
Activate
Playoff mode. And what happened?
He went to the gas and nothing but air came out. You know how you start your car in high school? Well, for me, I ain't have one of them good cars. Nick, that's a different story and everything.
You don't even know what car I had in high school. Yeah.
That's what he looked like those first 5 games coming back.
And it was, to your point, that the numbers are there and his plus minus there, the effect, he was mostly on the offensive end the same guy he was before the injury. But this time of year, he goes to a different level, sometimes earlier than other times, but he's always been able to hit it, and he wasn't able to hit it. But at this point, there are a lot of people around the league that do not like LeBron, do not like the way LeBron changed the power structure, do not like the way LeBron conducts his business. There haven't been a lot of real room to criticize in the last 7.5 years. And now there's a ton. And instead of just focusing on what I think is totally fair criticism, his involvement in the recruitment of Anthony Davis, how that hurt the team. His involvement, as was reported more the last few weeks, in his selection of the players on the team. That's fair. His lack of, I think the one part there that's a little fair is the lack of accountability of, I need to play better, just even if that's not true, like just to take leadership. But this other stuff of, here's what Kobe would have done with these guys. Kobe would have been standing in a parking lot demanding they trade him. I watched him do that to Andrew Bynum. I watched him kill Smush Parker. So we know that part of it. And the other part of it is the Lakers' problem this year is multifaceted, but the biggest one has been the injuries. And I mean, they're still coming. With Ingram now done for the year, with the concerning, the blood clot in his shoulder.
That's serious.
It's serious.
That's serious.
Lonzo being shut down for the year. They've got a lot of issues. The idea that LeBron was enough of a rah-rah guy is near the bottom of the list in my eyes.
Yeah, it's been a horrible year. It will be known as the lost year. And if they don't win a championship with LeBron being with the Lakers, it will start with this right here. How the first roster was put together, how LeBron got injured in the first year. Is he still the best player in the world? I don't think so, because he's not going to be in the playoffs. If you're not in the playoffs, can't be the best player in the world. And when you're LeBron James and you decide to, in free agency, because he didn't look at any other teams. He decided he was going to the Lakers long time ago. So when you decide to do that and your first year doesn't go well, he's going to get a lot of the blame. You know the reason why? How much faith do we have in Magic Johnson, Rob Pelinka? Not a whole bunch.
Right.
Everyone else on the roster is either young or an old veteran just trying to hang on. So LeBron James is right there for the picking to be able to get the blame. Because if they would have won, he would have gotten the credit.
I'll say this. The turning point of this season actually happened, I believe, in New York, in Brooklyn, rather. They were here. They were 18-13. In the locker room before the game, LeBron talked to Dave McMenamin of ESPN and said, I'd love to play with Anthony Davis. That game, now the players didn't know anything about those comments. He sort of whispered it. We were all in the locker room just, messing around. He said it, the story went up around halftime. They lost the game. In the locker room, it was a morgue. Like, the players were glued to their phones. It was super quiet. Like, contrary to what people believe, losing one game is losing one of 82. People don't care that much in December. But the spirit of that team drastically changed. A week later, it was Christmas, LeBron got hurt, and everything else went down from there. But that night, I was able to see the spirit of that team, the momentum that they had built. Those young guys felt like, oh, he's no longer with us. Because as great as Anthony Davis is, if they want him,
They know
it's going to
who's
cost them
gonna
me.
be gone.
Right.
Exactly.
So much of this season is based around what's going to happen in free agency. How much do you think of how far this Laker team has dropped is going to affect who they can bring in?
I think, look, if Kawhi Leonard didn't want to come to the Lakers, them not making the playoffs this year isn't going to make heads or tails on whether he wants to do that or not. Because they're still the Lakers. If you want to play with LeBron James, if you want to play with him, then this year is not going to make a big difference because he has a body of work. And actually, this year may help you because you can see, okay, he's no longer the best player in the game by such a wide margin. He knows that he's going to need superstar help. He's going to allow me to be more than a role player, like he turned Kevin Love into a role player. He turned Chris Bosh into a role player. He doesn't have that room because he's no longer the greatest by such a wide margin.
Well, that's the point Broussard made, that you could make a case that if he brings in another superstar, signs in free agency, they are more positioned to get actual credit than Wade got, than Kyrie got. But the other thing that happened this weekend is, and we alluded to it earlier, this Brandon Ingram blood clot situation, what do you think that does, forget the free agency part of it for a moment, to the trade market, to his ability to be the key piece in an Anthony Davis trade, because he was playing the best basketball of his career after the All-Star break?
He was playing such great basketball by a wide margin compared to what he had done before. Now you're starting to question, do you believe in it? Not just believe in the basketball, but do you believe in the health in his body and where it's going to go? Because blood clots, I don't think they cost lives. They cost careers. Chris Bosh and some other guys in other sports, like, this is such a serious thing that even if you're negotiating with the Lakers, are you negotiating? Do you feel like you're negotiating in good faith, that they're literally giving you all the medicals and everything else, that you can say, okay, you know what, if I'm New Orleans, I'll take Brandon Ingram knowing this problem. Hell, if you're Brandon Ingram, do you want to go to New Orleans with the injuries that those guys have had and some of the problems that players have had?
That medical staff
over the past few years?
Health issue.
Seriously. So I think it's a problem for Brandon Ingram. It's a problem for the Lakers. This is the worst
he might not be
thing.
tradable.
Yeah, look, assuming that even if he gets a clean bill of health, because Chris Bosh got the clean bill of health the second time, came back and played, and then they said, oh, it's recurring. You don't want to trade for a guy and
That's
have
one
to worry
blood
about
clot away
that.
from the doctors maybe saying you can't play anymore because you can't
Absolutely.
fly. Like, it is the Bosh, you're totally right. He came back. People forget, he came back. And now his was more serious, and I understand was caught later. I get all that. But he came back. And then he got another one, and he wanted to play. He just announced his retirement a couple of weeks ago. He really wanted to keep playing.
Yeah, no
Doctors
NBA
wouldn't let
doctor
him.
will clear him to play, Chris Bosh.